This is the Chinese water deer. However, I'm not in China. I've come to two neighbouring nature reserves in Norfolk, England, Buckenham Marshes and Strumpshaw Fen, both wetlands habitats managed by the Royal Society for the Protection of Birds. Of course, as you can see, it's not just birds to be found on these reserves. As the name suggests, the Chinese water deer are native to China and Korea, but were introduced into the UK in the 19th century. They were first kept at London Zoo in 1873 and at Woburn Park in Bedfordshire in 1896, then more in 1929 at Whipsnade Zoo, where they escaped into the surrounding woodland. Since around 1901 these deer were deliberately released and more have escaped and have since established themselves in the East Anglia region of England, mainly in Bedfordshire, Cambridgeshire and Norfolk where I am today. Despite the relative recency of their introduction and the limited UK distribution, it's thought that the British population now account for around 10% of the world's total. There is thought to be over 600 water deer at Whipsnade and over 250 at Woburn. A survey of wild deer was conducted by the British Deer Society between 2005 and 2007, and it was noted that the Chinese water deer had notably increased its range since the previous survey done in 2000. The water deer, as its name would suggest, prefer wetland habitats such as reed beds and river shores and the nearby woodlands and fields, making the marsh and fen habitats of Buckenham and Strumpshaw ideal, and the deer would be a common sight throughout the day. Despite being an introduced species, they have not had the kind of negative impact that the muntjac deer has had, due in part to their lower population density, but their feeding habits are not as destructive. Although they may wander into arable land, they tend not to eat the crops and rather eat the weeds growing in the fields. They also do not cause damage to trees. Of course, with no natural predators in the UK, their population does need management. Water deer are the most prolific breeders of all deer species, and they have been known to produce up to 7 young, although 2 or 3 is normal. The rut takes place in November and December, and the buck and doe form pairs that last until April, with the doe giving birth from May to July. Life is tough for a young water deer, with around 40% of fawns dying within the first 4 weeks of life. But if they can survive those first few weeks, water deer can live to an average lifespan of 6 years but can live up to 12. Water deer are generally solitary except when mating, but may form small groups in areas with higher population density. The bucks are very aggressive and will not tolerate the presence of other bucks. During the rut, the males will walk parallel to each other, sizing up their competition. If dominance can't be determined, they will fight. The water deer does not have antlers like other deer species, but they do have large tusks which they use to battle with. Fights between rival males are rarely fatal, much less so than antlered species, but injuries are common. Female water deer also have tusks, but these are much smaller than in the males. These tusks, which are actually canine teeth, are held loosely in their sockets and can be controlled by facial muscles. The deer can draw them back while eating, and during combat, the male can point them forward to use as a weapon. These teeth have given the Chinese water deer the nickname of vampire deer. If you'd like to know more about some of the other deer species of the UK, you can check out some other videos on my channel, such as the fallow deer rutting here, or the red deer rutting here, or see the muntjac deer as captured by my nocturnal trail camera here. Well, thank you for watching. Please do subscribe if you'd like to see more, and please leave a like if you enjoyed the video. I really do appreciate it. I hope to see you in the next video. Goodbye.